You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Get ready. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. Now, I'm Big Q, and on the line, got DC chiming in. What's happening with you, DC?
The scoreboard at the Superdome is what's happening.
That's right, man. 48-7, a shellacking. The Saints destroyed the defending Super Bowl champions. We're going to recap that on Sports Coma 275. We're going to recap this great game as the Saints were on full display for the entire NFL and the world to see that these people understand that this team is a team of destiny. And even the blind can see that now. But if you're a true follower of any sport, you can see speciality. You don't even have to take a really extended look to see special things coming at you. Come on now. But anyway, we're going to get into that. This game, we're going to recap the Saints and Eagles matchup. 48-7, the Saints stumped the bloody blue blazes out of this Eagle club. We're going to break it down with stats, facts. We're going to have our customary and traditional thumbs up and thumbs down segment of the show. We have interviews that'll chime in for Coach Payton and Drew Brees, of course. We'll also have our customary topics, which is this is now a topic. We've been talking about this now for a couple weeks now. MVP candidate Drew Brees. We have a lot of discussion on that. We'll talk about that today. We'll also break down the Saints' offense and defensive performance in this fantastic matchup that we see today. Also, we'll have the Sports Coma question of the day, which we'll issue out to you momentarily. And of course, we'll read the previous questions replies on this show as well. So without further ado, we'd like to welcome everybody, new and established listeners of the Sports Coma, all the lovely and beautiful Saints fans across the whole wide world or the whole wide plane, whatever you may want to call it. Welcome aboard to the Sports Coma as we will get into this great Saints topics and discussion. Without further ado, 48-7 shellacking destruction of this team. DC, now before I get off into these team statistics, I want to hear your breakdown on what you've seen today from this excellent matchup in the Dome.
Domino Nation. Domino pizza. Steamrolled. Man, it's kind of hard to follow up last week, but I actually think it was a better game than last week. The defense was complete. They held Carson Wentz. You're talking about a guy who was, in my opinion, the MVP last year. I mean, he lost it because of the injury. He didn't play all the games, but it's basically the most valuable player for his team last year. This is the Super Bowl champs, and we beat them 48-7. Wow.
You can look at a number of things that happened with this team to understand how the Saints just took them apart. And let's get into our breakdown statistically. The Saints 28 first downs to 13 first downs by the Eagles. Of course, total plays, the Saints had 69 total plays versus the Eagles 48. 546 total yards versus the Eagles 196. Of course, 11 total drives for both teams, but the Saints averaged 8 yards a play. The Eagles, half of that. The Saints, of course, total passing in this game, 373 yards, 373 versus 138. 173 yards rushing on the ground by the Saints versus 58 by the Eagles. And, of course, the Saints were 4 of 5 in the red zone. 4 of 5, Eagles 0 of 1. They didn't get into the red zone but one time, and they couldn't convert. Penalties, 6 penalties for 49 yards. For the Eagles, it didn't really matter. The Saints had 8 of them for 69. Didn't matter. But 3 turnovers. The Eagles had 3 interceptions, all thrown by Carson Wentz. Big plays all day by the Saints secondary and defense. As you can see, the team galvanizing in a major capacity. The Saints, let me just say this. And you probably won't hear none of the national commentators say it probably until later on. But that's pretty much how it goes. The Saints really stole the clock from this Eagle club. They had 37 minutes and 34 seconds of time of possession versus the Eagles 22 minutes and 26 seconds. Now, I say that before I break down any other stat, because if you watch the game, the Saints took the clock down damn near every time to 1 or 2 seconds before they snapped the ball. They stole the clock from the Eagles, just jeopardizing any rhythm and stealing possessions away from them and stopping them. So every drive that the Eagles got, they had to make it count, and they could not keep up. Every drive was more and more pressure upon Carson Wentz. It's the same thing that happened last week to Andy Dalton. The stealing of possessions, controlling of the clock, and forcing pressure upon every possession that they have to score with the Saints to keep pace. You can't do it. DC, before we get into the statistical individual breakdown, let's hear what Coach Payton had to say about his team performance as they knock off the Eagles 48-7. Here's Coach Payton.
A lot of reasons. It's the first time we played a team this year coming off of a loss. Part of that's coincidence, but when you play the Super Bowl champion, and when you play a team like that that's backed in a corner a little bit, if you will, we felt they were. That we knew we were going to have to be ready, and that was a concern all week. I was proud of the way our players answered the challenge. I thought defensively we were outstanding. There'll be some things we have to clean up. We were efficient offensively, and it was a good win for us. So we'll be on a short week here. Any questions? Look. He's in here. He's here for week 4, so I don't know that we could say that him settling in is. I think we had a good plan going into this game, and certainly we have confidence and we have to have confidence in those guys outside. So, we'll see the tape and get a chance to grade it. But look, there was a lot of one double going on. It's hard for you guys to see, but when you're getting man, which they played a ton more man tonight than we'd seen in 2 years. We had watched every film, you name it, last season, Super Bowl, this season, last postseason, playoffs, and tonight was entirely different, and that's a credit to Mike Thomas and Alvin Kamara. Those guys, we got doubled a bunch on Mike, and which created opportunities for other players. And fortunately, we were able to hit enough plays. Not like this. No, this is different. Yeah. Look, they're all hitting their stride. It was. I thought our O-line played well. That was another concern. They've got a real good front, and those guys. I thought blocked the run well. We scored early and often, and I think that time of possession was key. Well, it's not just been the last 2 weeks, and I'm not correcting you. I think that part of it is the return of a lot of veteran linemen. I mean, I think your team starts with your O-line, and I think it permeates through the rest of your roster. So we've been able to stay out of some third and longs. Tonight we converted a few. The balance has helped us. I think the players quickly are getting up to speed. A guy like Traquan, who's a rookie, is learning fast. We got good production from a number of players tonight. So, we keep working on trying to improve. I'm sure there'll be things that we're upset about when we watch the tape. We don't have a lot of time to dwell on them, and yet we got to make the corrections and then get ready to play Atlanta.
That was Coach Payton breaking down his thoughts on the game. As you can hear the coach, really focused. His team's really playing really well, and you hear a lot of positive stuff coming from Coach Payton. Feels really good. In a little bit, we're going to play some Drew Brees, but let's get into our thumbs up, thumbs down segment. DC, usually we bring it in a little earlier, but I like doing it a little earlier, throw a little spice into it. Thumbs up, thumbs down, my friend. Who you got?
Man, it's kind of hard because I want to give it to the new kid on the block, but I cannot look over what Drew Brees did today. So my thumbs up is definitely going to go to Drew Brees, man. He had an amazing game today. To me, it kind of looked like the team went out there, and as a team, they're trying to win the MVP for Drew Brees, if you ask me. So amazing game by Drew Brees. 4 touchdowns, 360-something yards, no picks, no sacks. 8 completions, which is like horrible for him. He only had a 73 completion rate. But it's amazing for everybody else, so I thought he had a great game. My thumbs down player is going to be Sean Payton, man. He should have took our first unit out, man. We got to get it third.
You know what? The thumbs down is really becoming really more difficult as the season goes on, man. It really is. I gotta say, man, the last couple of weeks it's been really hard to draw the thumbs down to the players because they're really stepping up.
Chris Banjo made my thumbs down more accurate because we put our backups in, man. Our backup safety got 2 interceptions.
He scored 2 interceptions, man, to help the Saints get the win. So very interesting. No doubt about it, as the Saints were able to do what they were supposed to do and handle business in a major way. So going over some individual statistics, of course, DC did mention the fact that the Saints with Drew Brees, 22 of 30 for 360 yards in the game. He did mention that 4 touchdowns for Drew Brees today. Absolutely amazing. 97.4 on the QB rate. Then, of course, the running game was excellent as well. 37 carries for 173 yards, 2-score average, and just under 5 yards average between all of the runners. And then when you throw in Ingram, 16 carries, he had 103 yards. He averaged 6 yards a carry, 6.5 yards a carry. You know, that's absolutely insane that he was able to accomplish that. He just shot off and early in the game had a 38-yard burst that kind of set the rhythm or the routine or whatever you want to call it for the Saints running game. Alvin Kamara, 13 carries, 71 yards. On the day, and Taysom Hill had 3 for 4 yards in the carry. You got to throw him in there. Receiving game, it wasn't Michael Thomas's night this time around. It was the other man. They got on, as you know, the Eagles try to say we got to stop Mike Thomas. Mike had 4 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. He was targeted just 4 times. He caught all 4 balls, but it was
about Kamara too.
That's right. They were scheming on him, but he only had 1 target and he had 1 catch for 37 yards, and it was a touchdown. But what they did do is, man, it's just excellent. That's why I keep saying they thinking it's all about Mike Thomas and Alvin Kamara. And don't get me wrong, those guys are stars. But these other guys are excellent. Traquan Smith, 10 catches on 13 targets, 157 yards, a touchdown. He averaged 16 yards a catch. Keith Kirkwood, 3 catches, 33 yards on a day. He was targeted 5 times. Josh Hill got involved. He had 2 catches for 26 yards. Dan Arnold had 2 catches for 25 yards. Austin Carr had a catch for 3 yards, which ultimately ended up with a touchdown. So what I'm saying is the Saints are getting their lesser-known wide receivers involved in the offense. And this is just a splendid example. Drew Brees is going to find whoever's open. Whoever you take away, he's just going to get the other man involved. And it's just an excellent display of offense, and you can't stop it. You cannot stop it. But that's the great thing about the Saints offense as well. Now, before we get into the defensive stats, I'm going to finish my thumbs up, thumbs down, and get a chance to tell you. DC astutely mentioned Drew Brees, and rightfully so. In this competition, I think I'm going to give it to Traquan Smith. That's hands down. 10 catches on 13 targets, 157 yards, 16-yard average on the catch, 1 touchdown. Traquan Smith busted out of his shell in a major capacity for the Saints. This guy is going to be an excellent compliment to Michael Thomas for a while, and it's good to see him getting involved later on in the season because we can start counting on this guy as we get close to the playoffs. So Traquan Smith really busted out on the scene. He gets my thumbs up. Today, thumbs down, kind of hard to dish out thumbs down, man. It really was.
Man, you can't keep passing it up every week, man. You got to give it to somebody.
I got to give it to somebody, and I'm going to give it to P.J. Williams. I'm going to give it to P.J. Williams because P.J. had a decent game, but P.J. was out there P.J. was out there screwing up, man. He was out there holding people. It was several plays where P.J. got away with.
Eli Apple was holding people, too.
That's true. Hey, but Eli Apple not known for that. P.J. is. You know P.J. can't cover a bed. But PJ was out there, man.
He can't cover a bed.
He can't cover a bed. You know that. And PJ Williams, the thing is, he was holding the hell out of Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz was holding his hands up toward the referees. But several plays I seen PJ personally get away with a couple of pass interferences. But being that it's such a tight show to give the thumbs down to, I guess I could say I can give it to him, or I can give it to Kurt Coleman, who actually was all right. He was all right, but don't be mad at me.
You better not put a bad about Marshawn Lattimore, though. His coverage is like a fat person in a small jacket. Tight.
Yeah, he was pretty good, man. So that was an excellent thing that we recognize about those things. So don't be too upset with me there, sports family. You try to give out a thumbs down to this type of play. You know what I'm saying? We can't exactly advocate away from giving them away. But anyway, let's go into our next. Let's hear what Drew Brees had to say about his performance against this Eagles team. Here's Drew Brees.
Yeah, but it's there's still a process, right? Each and every week, the game plan that the coaches work so hard to put together, the time that we need in practice to make sure that we are executing that plan to perfection, the time that I need with the receivers and the tight ends and the running backs, and just there's just so much that goes into that, and so we don't take that for granted. We don't just you don't just snap your fingers and come out and play like that. A lot of time on task and great effort and great focus and attention to detail. But yes, we do come out with a lot of confidence because we know the amount of preparation that has gone into that. So each and every time we touch the ball, we feel like we're going to make the plays, right? That we have a good game plan, and that all of a sudden adjustments need to be made. Hey, we know how to make those. We know where our matchups are. We know, I think there's just a lot of confidence that goes into, each and every time we get the ball, what do we need to do to put points on the board this drive?
All that being said, do you still look at that stat sheet and just look at sometimes close your eyes or what y'all are able to do? I mean, the way you're scoring and the efficiency is shattering that record.
Yeah, listen, one at a time, right? I mean, honestly, there's always another challenge, right? And every time we step on the field, we understand we're going to have to earn it. We got to go out and earn the victory, and we have to earn, that amount of points, right? And within the framework of understanding what is winning football, right? When you take care of the football, when you convert third downs, when you maximize your opportunities in the red zone, that is winning football, right? Control the ball, control time of possession. So if we just continue to, create the sense of urgency each and every week on making sure that we accomplish those things, then good things will happen. Yeah. Listen, obviously this was a huge night for him. I think especially early on, it became evident that, Philly was really wanting to take away Michael Thomas to the point where it was just two guys on him running around the field everywhere. And same with Alvin for the most part. So that was opportunities for some of these other guys to get touches, get matchups. And listen, they all made the most of it. Traquan, Kirkwood, Austin Carr, our tight ends. I feel like everybody came up with some big plays, big catches in the game today.
And that's Drew Brees, man, giving you his thoughts on the game. Drew, meticulous as ever, as surgical as Drew Brees was taking apart this team. To be honest with you, it's hard for me to kind of pick which is the most impressive performance. Drew Brees is 22 of 30 for 363 yards, 4 touchdowns, 97.4 QB rating, 153.2 rating, 12 yards a pass average, or the fact that the Saints defense held Carson Wentz on 19 of 33 for 156 yards, less than 5 yards in average, and 3 interceptions, and he was sacked 3 times. 12.4 QB rating on the day. They did that to Carson Wentz. The Saints defense did. But anyway, we're going to talk about the Saints O, the Saints D. We got the Sports Coma question of the day coming up, the injury report, and replies from the previous question, and also topics about MVP Drew Brees. We'll cover it all on the other side of the break. Stick with us. You're listening to Sports Coma. Big Q and the guys.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What's up, sports world? It's Big Q. Talking at you from the PRO Media Network, letting you know that we're attempting to make things a lot simpler on our listeners and viewers of our mini podcast. So as a result, we're leasing down a lot of our shows to have their own channels for your convenience. Starting soon, shows like Ring King Box, LSU's Tough Tiger Talk, the Pelican Postgame Report will all have their own individual YouTube channels. So thank you for working with us during this process. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your donations and support for our platform as we continue to improve moving forward. Peace.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that? Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000, celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, recapping the Saints' destruction, the literally just automatically just breaking apart the dissection of the Philadelphia Eagles, 48-7 in the Superdome, putting the NFL on notice. Because, you know, we've been known what the Saints were capable of. We know they would have destroyed this team last year in the playoffs. We know that. It's a fluke play that kept them out this year. That's why this team is pissed this year, because they knew it was a fluke. They knew last year was their year to get to the bowl. This year, they're not taking any chances. So in actuality, it was a blessing in disguise because it made this team more focused, more determined, and definitely it made everybody in the building hungry, not just the guys on the floor, but the guys in the front office, because they went out and got the players in the draft that they knew they were weak at. They didn't even settle back and was patient with guys like Ken Crawley. They went out and had immediate upgrades in the secondary with a guy like Eli Apple. And schematic changes on defense, adjustments that really work, personnel groupings that really work. This is the type of stuff we study here on the Sports Coma, and that's why we get so intricate with this Saints stuff. We don't just blab off about stats and read off of papers and read off of teleprompters. Ain't no damn teleprompters here. This is coming straight off our dome. And coming straight off the dome, we're going to get into some of this more discussions. And here, excuse me as I step back off my soapbox. But the Sports Coma question of the day.
Stop lying to people, man. You know, you done wrote some notes.
The Sports Sober question. We don't have no teleprompters. I promise you that. Whatever you guys hear us talking.
We got lighters, man.
All right, let's get to it, man. The Sports Coma question of the day.
Just a face.
I'm just a face and a voice, huh? Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Now, the Sports Coma question today to all our people out there, all of this, the lovely Saints fans out there that know their team. This is for you. A really good one, too. Can the Saints offense maintain this level of play? Can they keep up this offensive production through the entire season going into the Super Bowl? Can they do it? That is the question. Can the Saints stay on this sharp surgical, intricate, disciplined style of play that you've seen them exhibit over the last several weeks? Can they do it? That is the question I'm asking you here on the Sports Coma. Can they do it? Now, of course, that is a question I want you guys to answer. And of course, later on, we'll get to the replies from the previous question of the Sports Coma question of the day. We'll read that. But let's get into some of this stuff. We're going to talk about the Saints offense and defense.
Definitely keep up this style of play for one reason only, man. We have a system that works. I've never seen a team have a system that consistently works to get to 30 and 40 points. Whoever you want to stop, it's next man up, man. And for that reason, and with the threats we have, I think they can keep it going. 40 burgers all year long.
Now, you heard what DC said, man. I want y'all to chime in and put y'all comments in the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts is on the Sports Coma question of the day. Can the Saints maintain this level of offense?
How do you stop it? Let them comment on how to stop it, because I don't see it as it can be done.
I'm pretty sure they will. We got a bunch of great minds out there that know their team that's going to comment, so I can't wait to hear them. But let's get into some of the MVP discussion before we finish up on some of the team stats going on. MVP Drew Brees. We had this conversation in the previous show. We talked about Drew Brees being MVP. Of course, some of the comments that we read, and I'm going to read them later on in the show, but they were saying that there's only two people that's really vouching for that position. And that's Drew Brees, and then there's the Kansas City quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, and perhaps running back Ty Gurley. I heard him thrown in there by Gonzalez today. But and I'm not just saying this because I'm a Saints man through and through, but I'm just saying this because I'm looking at the body of work this entire year versus now I'm not taking anything from Mahomes. I respect what he's doing. Don't get me wrong. It's impressive for us. We're a second-year quarterback who didn't play at all in this rookie year to come in and do the type of things he's doing in that offense. Don't get me wrong. And they're damn good. But when I look at what the Saints are doing, what Drew Brees is doing, the accuracy, the control of offense, and this guy is 39 years old. He's 6 feet tall. And I just think it's time. And a lot of people are feeling the same way. It's time for Drew Brees to get his MVP. He went through all of these fantastic seasons, had all these years where he threw for over 4,000 yards. A couple of years he threw for over 5,000 yards, and that even sniff an MVP title. This year, they cannot ignore him anymore. And I know a lot of fans say, Q, damn that season MVP. I want him to get a Super Bowl ring and a Super Bowl MVP. That's more impressive. And you're right, that is impressive. But out of all the things that he's done, I think that should be an accomplishment, and it's a shame that he had not gotten an MVP despite all those high years of production. That's all I'm saying. I know you guys can admit. DC, quickly, thoughts on that?
Thank you, Big Q. You allowed me to do what I've been wanting to do all show, and that's tell Chris Sims because he's talking that BS. I don't know if you heard the interview, my brother, but Chris Sims says that Drew Brees is basically the recipient of having so many weapons, and the fact that all of his passes are short throws and dump offs. I'm sure the Saints heard that this week, and it's 48 points that they put up. And you did see us passing the ball a little bit more, I guess, in the usual formula early on. He claims that Drew Brees got all of his yards and all his accolades on screen passes and dump offs. But when you look at the statistics, actually, Mahomes is number one in yards for screen passes. And a lot of his chunk plays, they come from Tyreek Hill. Not taking anything away from Mahomes. I think he's an excellent quarterback. He's probably going to go down and turn into a great, but what Drew Brees is doing is unprecedented, and I can't think of a quarterback who had a better season ever. Maybe some people had more touchdowns statistically. You think about maybe Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. What about the completion percentage? What about...
Yeah, a lot of things that it's just, to me, it's really stupid. For some of these guys who're supposed to be professional commentators, I know these guys are just saying stuff to drum up. I think a lot of these people, they just saying that, like Chris Sims, saying stuff like that to get people to pay attention to him, because nobody really listening to Chris Sims. I mean, he never really done anything in the NFL. It's more of his father. And his father would never say something that stupid. So I guess those brain cells kind of didn't get to him. I mean, Phil Sims is definitely a better analyst than Chris Sims, for God's sake. That's laughable to hear that from him. And that's also proof positive once again, that these analysts don't do nothing but stand up there and look at stats all day and a few highlights and 1 or 2 games, 3 or 4 games a year and think they know the team. That's not how it works. You got to know you can't just stick your head in a room and say, okay, I know football. These guys don't know these teams like this. They broad stroking these teams. And then when you really critique their breakdowns on things, you realize that they're reading off of stat sheets and they're not watching the games. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. That's basically what's going on here.
Ryan Clark in him, my man. He basically is a guy that's mad that he didn't play for the Saints. You got to remember, he played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And we tore him up. I remember him.
He used to pummel them all the time, bro. So that definitely got to be on that man's mind because he out of his mind. He another one that got Drew Brees ranked 10th. In all of his quarterbacks that's active right now. Not even 10th all time, but 10th in quarterbacks that's playing right now. Dude out of his mind, bro.
Of course he's out of his mind, and I wonder where he got himself ranked on the all-time QB list. Probably 1 billionth. But anyway, let's go into some of the teams, the defensive statistics dealing with our Saints. Marshawn Lattimore led the team in tackles. He had 4 tackles on the day. Also an interception. Demario Davis.
Excellent game on those too, man. He played a perfect game.
Once again, Demario Davis had 3 tackles. Like I said, he's either number 1 or number 2. Demario is always around. 2 tackles for a loss. Tyler Davison, 3 tackles in the game. Alex Anzalone had 3. Von Bell had 3. Craig Robertson, Alex Okafor, Chris Banjo, A.J. Klein, Justin Hardy, P.J. Williams, Eli Apple, all those guys had a couple of tackles. And then, of course, a bunch of guys, several guys had 1 tackle. Also in the game, we talk about 3 sacks. Craig Robertson had a sack in the game. So did Alex Okafor. He was able to get on there with a sack in the matchup. Sheldon Rankins, he got a sack and did his big man shimmy once again on the night. Then, of course, 3 interceptions by the Saints secondary. 2 of them by Chris Banjo as he got on the board with 2 in one night. Congratulations to Chris Banjo and Marshawn Lattimore. Of course, he had a pick in this game as well. And Thomas Mostert actually had punts. He had 2 punts in the game for 99 yards. The average is about 49.5. And he's just excellent. Then Will Lutz, he finished the night off with 2 of 2 kicking and 6 of 6 on extra points for 12 points total for our great kicker, Will Lutz.
Thomas Mostert will be able to play 10 more seasons if we keep this up.
I'm telling you, he just redone his contract. So, but let's get into the Saints offense and defense discussion. We talked about the MVP conversation with Drew Brees. Let's have this discussion now about the Saints offense and defense and their play at this level. What do you think about both of those?
Well, I think the defense is finally starting to play at an exceptional level. And what I love so much about our defense is the unity. Man, everybody around the league is copying their little celebration now. It's crazy. League. Like, they're trying to replicate what they're doing, and they're trying to play as a unit because they're looking at their Saints defense, even though statistically we're second to last, I think, in the passing yardage. But when you look at our defense, man, these dudes ain't gonna be no easy day for you. That's what separates us from those other teams. The fact that our defense is way above theirs. They're playing as a unit, and they're replicating the same thing on offense, man. We're doing great situational football right now. We're stopping people on third down. I mean, they basically shut down Carson Wentz today. It's awesome, man, and they're doing it as a unit. The substitutions, the next guy that comes in, everybody's performing. It's not one man you can pick out and say that's greater than the other. The same thing can be said about the offense. If you try to stop here, like our defense, if you try to attack here, we're going to adapt, and we're just going to move to the next man up. And that's what I love about both sides of the football, and that's the identity of our whole team. And this is something that's probably going to propel us into a Super Bowl victory.
If you continue to hold a guy like Carson Wentz, who came to this game with very good statistics, Carson Wentz is a good quarterback. You held him to 156 yards, 19 of 33. He had 3 interceptions in this game. You sacked him 3 times. You roughed him up, made him look like a rookie out there.
Basically, in his career, man.
Right. Then you look at what they did to the running game. Of course, they didn't have a great running game anyway, but the Saints once again held the running game down, 12 carries for 58 yards and 1 rushing touchdown. Of course, the guy sprung free on a 28-yard run and got a score, but this ain't a gash me twice type team. You gash the Saints one, they get tighter and tighter and tighter. And that's what happened. Golden Tate, 5 catches for 48 yards on 8 targets. He's usually a guy that killed you. The Saints wouldn't let him do nothing. He was frustrated. He got caught on an offensive pass interference as well. He was frustrated. Defensively, they just couldn't do nothing with him. Malcolm Jenkins was frustrated. He had 9 tackles. Corey Graham had 9 tackles. Jordan Hicks had 7 tackles. They have pretty good personnel over there, but no kind of way. None of those guys were prepared for the steamroll, the unstoppable force that the Saints are. And they got the issue. 48-17. They're going to pick up their chin and go up there to Philadelphia and find out how bad, how they stink so much. And then, of course, they had a bevy of injury to go with them, by the way. But I don't care if they would have had some of their top guys. The Saints still would have ran through this team. They're just not ready for what New Orleans has. They don't have the right personnel. They didn't have a pass rush. They didn't have, and then on top of that, the Saints offensive line still shut them down. And I got to give credit to the Saints offensive line in this one, and big time credit to Jermon Bushrod, who stepped in, and the Saints O-line did not skip a beat. Teron Armstead is out for 3 weeks to a month. He's out. What they do? Jermon Bushrod steps in and do what he was supposed to do. He handled business, and it was almost like he became the old Jermon Bushrod, the guy during the Super Bowl. Of course, he had the tragedy with his family. Rest in peace. Condolences once again. Prior show when we talked about that, but it seems like the tragedy of everything is kind of focused the man, in his job, and he's more determined than ever. So.
That's how some people grieve, man.
That's how they grieve. They just get more focused on the job and get more serious, and that's what Bushrod is doing. So Saints on another level here. And we're going to mention, before we get to our sports coma, we're going to mention the sports coma question today once again so you guys can remember it. Can the Saints offense maintain this level of play? Can they do this all throughout the rest of the season, on into the playoffs, all up into the Super Bowl? Can they finish it up? You heard what DC said. I think they can. What do you think? Now, before we get into the previous replies, let's hear the injury report.
We got to think about one thing. Let's go to the injury report.
Yeah.
I know the Saints won this game 48-7. If you telling me that the Vikings losing to the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, the way they didn't play a part on how the Saints beat them today, you're crazy. They definitely thinking long term, man. And as you said, the revenge tour continues.
It continues. The revenge tour, baby.
On the injury report, man, nothing new to report. Basically, it's just one guy. All the injuries stay the same. Nobody came back this week from last week. Armstead still out, Davenport still out, Ginn still out, Tommy Lee Lewis is still out. He's practicing, though. Hopefully we'll have Ginn back and Tommy Lee Lewis next week, which would be amazing to go against Dallas. So that would be a nice boost to the team. But Larry Warford left the game Sunday, and he's being evaluated for a concussion. So other than that, that was pretty much the only casualty we had today, and he's being evaluated, so maybe it's not a big deal, and hopefully he can suit up next week. So the streak will continue, man. We still looking healthy, very healthy, relatively to the rest of the league. So in week 11.
Very good, and I hope he'll be back in time. Of course, Turkey Day coming up Thursday night. The Saints have a matchup with the hated Atlanta Falcons in the Superdome. So we took care of them up there early in the season in Atlanta with that dramatic win, and now we can really finish them off. Of course, they lost to the Dallas Cowboys today. Tampa Bay also lost, and Carolina lost, which is all good as we extend our lead in the division. Interesting fact is the fact that we can finish the Atlanta Falcons season off with a win in the Superdome on Turkey Day. So we'll be looking forward to that. Hopefully Larry Warford will be ready to go by that time. Anyway, let's get into our previous.
We will be ready to go. Brandon Marshall is probably going to be out there.
That'll be interesting to see him out there too. Really, really anxious to see Brandon Marshall out there. Really be a treat for Thanksgiving. Let's get into our sports coma question of the day from the last show, which was, will Drew Brees win the season MVP this year? And of course, we had a bunch of replies for this one, and I knew we would. Of course, and here's a few of the replies. We're going to start off with NT Prizing. If I had to choose between Mahomes having a great game, pulling out a hard win on the Rams, giving the Saints the lead for home field advantage versus Mahomes having a bad day, Rams keep home field lead into the playoffs, I choose Saints getting home field advantage every time. I'd rather Brees be a 2-time Super Bowl MVP and having the best advantage to achieve that. Winning both MVPs will be perfect, though. But I don't see him getting both, no matter how much he deserves it, unless Mahomes, Chiefs, and the Rams falter. Brees and the Saints have to be near perfect every game, it seems, because the NFL won't budge from Mahomes otherwise. No matter what happens, winning the Super Bowl means more than winning a league MVP. Very good comment there by NT Prize, and thank you for commenting, NT Prize. Thank you. Rendell Bartholomew climbed in. He said, very well put, sir. Big up in him. Joshua London chimes in. What's going on, Josh? He said, yes, I believe so, as long as New Orleans finish strong, which I fully expect they will. Currently, Brees leads the main competitor Mahomes in QBR by 6.4 points, completion percentage by 2.3%. Brees is on pace to shatter his own completion percentage record by 4.4 plus percentage points, 6 less interceptions, all while having basically an identical record. I give Mahomes more credit. He's lighting the world on fire. He's blowing away Brees in stats like yards and TDs, but Brees takes a bit of a slide in those areas as New Orleans runs the ball much more and more effectively. Thanks for the comments there, Josh. Keep it up. And of course, we have Verlin Casey chiming in. What's going on, Verlin? He chimes in. Yo, who that? Does anyone else think that this game is looking like a trap game? Though I do believe we prepare well, and I've seen stranger things. Stranger things go down even this year. Pittsburgh versus Panthers. Beat them okay, beat the brakes off them, then unexpected. It just seems a little suspect. And that's Verlin Casey's reply.
He living in the old Saints post-17 mind, man. I mean, the Saints would usually go in there and lay an egg on a team like this, man. But since 2017, with these spectacular drafts and players we got, man, it's been a totally different ballgame.
John Lister climbs in. What's going on, John? He says, what you know good? Is Brees going to win the MVP? Of course. The issue here is, will they give it to him? Put of pity? Because they're changing the narrative. Look at his stats previous year when he lost. First, it was on wins in 09. Then they say 011, it was quarterback rating, TDs, INTs. This time they saying Breezes don't throw deep. It's how our offenses run. We don't need a home run team. By having long drives, we control the clock. That helps our defense tremendously. Look at the Ravens game in the first quarter. We had the ball for 11 minutes straight. Breezes deserve more than this measly award given by the media. He deserves a Super Bowl champ MVP. No plot twists. Watch your boy Kamara sneak and get it. You hear me? Watch what I tell you. And can't guard Mike will get Offensive Player of the Year. I want Breezes to get the MVP and Super Bowl MVP, but what matters more? Hashtag keep marching. Hashtag who dat? Who dat to you, John? Appreciate the comment, man. Keep them coming. Verlin Casey had another reply. He also said, Brees has been the MVP for years. He doesn't play defense, and that's what stopped him from getting it. Our defense has, in my eyes, kept us from appearing multiple times in the playoffs and Super Bowls. We should dominate this game as long as we put our foot on the gas and leave it there. Who dat nation? Big Auto Dog, the Druid Saint. The man has gone for 5 stacks multiple times in a season after turning 30. If he was a nose picker, Packer, a punctriat, meaning Patriot, or a cowgirl, he'd have the MVP by now in his stats. Keep it moving, Big Q and D. The real deal, and not what the next man just said. That's why I hate ESPN. All they surface stats and drama and not the true facts. Like they're still saying we are a dome-only team when we are molly-whopping teams outdoors. As for off and on fans you spoke of, you call them fans, just reassure them by saying, look at the teams most likely to make the playoffs and look at the teams that may control the playoffs. If you do y'all see those dreaded places to play winter ball aren't really a treat to really control the path to the Super Bowl. Oops, where is the big dance in a dome? We know all too well, and I'm ready to strike up the band. So thank you, Verlin Casey, for chiming in once again. Rendell Bartholomew chiming in. What's up, Rendell? He says, personally, I think the NFL's office and its voting panel has something towards Brees and the Saints. I mean, they must still have beef for Drew, challenging them during the 2011 lockout and 2012 Bonnegate. Brees has been snubbed big time for the MVP honors for years now. Brees is the greatest quarterback of all time without question, but the real reason often overlooked and disregarded is he plays for the New Orleans Saints. Love the Saints, but they're not a legendary franchise with multiple Super Bowl titles in the eyes of the NFL office. They probably will see the Saints as a joke of a franchise. Being a small market team isn't much of an excuse either. The Packers are a small market team too, but they have that legendary status with the league and its fans. Drew Brees is still an amazing player and a field general that rightfully deserves MVP honors. The last quarterback to win regular season MVP and Super Bowl honors in a season was Kurt Warner of the St. Louis Rams. Ever since then, the MVP of the regular season went on to lose the Super Bowl the same year. I believe Drew has a shot to break that trend, but I also believe they will give it to the second-year player, Patrick Mahomes, instead. Drew Brees has to be pissed with all the disrespect he's gotten over the course of his illustrious career in New Orleans. He's a future Hall of Famer for a reason, and it seems intentionally ignored on purpose. I really hope the Saints keep winning until they finally have that silver shiny prize at the end of all the hard work they've put in. They deserve it. Who that? Number one. Big comment there by Rendell. Rendell chimes in. He's on it. Donald Woods Jr. chimes in. What's going on, Donald? I haven't heard from you in a while, my man. He said, also, Von Bell and A.J. Klein are the most improved players from last year. They're having a quiet, good year. Demario Davis is the defensive MVP for the Saints this year. He was a great pickup for the team. Demario Davis, Sheldon Rankins, Marshawn Lattimore, Cameron Jordan are my defensive Pro Bowlers for the Saints. Justin Hardy, Craig Robinson, Will Lutz, Zach Woods, and Thomas Morstead are my special teams Pro Bowlers for the Saints. Drew Brees, Elvin Kamara, Zach Line, Taysom Hill, Mike Thomas, Larry Ward, Max Unger, Ryan Ramczyk, Taron Armstead, Andrews Pete for my offensive players for the Pro Bowl. And Mickey Loomis has done an outstanding job of putting a Super Bowl team around. He said Mickey Loomis has done an outstanding job of putting a Super Bowl team around Drew Brees. He's probably going to be a finalist for the Executive of the Year. Sean, and other than Andy Reid, probably have the most fun on this team. He will put Brandon Marshall to the same position where Marcus Coates played in the offense, but in a lesser role. Marshall will do just fine. Sean Payton puts his team in the best possible way to succeed. If Sean Payton's not the head coach for the year, it's Andy Reid. It's just that simple. Thank you, Donald, for chiming in. Appreciate the comment, buddy. Alan Sider chimes in. He said, when one of the biggest haters of the Saints picked Drew Brees for MVP, now a Saint lover talking about primetime. Yeah, I heard about that one, Alan. Yeah, primetime been hating on us for a while on the slick. Now you kind of trying to ride with us. I'm watching him. Marvin Norman chimes in. Marvin Norman says, I don't see us losing unless the injury bug hit hard. Last year we had 23 players on IR last year. We beat the Eagles 48-13. And then, of course, Donald had a few other comments he threw in there as well. He said also, I'm going to be honest with you. The NFL has made offenses unbeatable. Defenses can't do anything anymore. The Saints have the best run defense, front seven in the league. The secondary is getting better every week since Eli Apple's been in the starting lineup. He's been getting better every week since he got traded here. The defense is getting better every week since he's been here. He said if Drew Brees isn't the MVP, it's Patrick Mahomes. There is anyone else in the league. You can see that it's just that simple. Still a lot of football to be played, though. The Saints are going to be just fine. We're in a great place right now. I love this. Football team is built. They're having fun playing with each other, and that's a good thing. So I'm saying that the Saints are for real, and they're going to be tough to beat. They're tough, physical, and smart, and playing smart football, period, point blank. Thank you, Donald. Appreciate the comments, my man. Once again, other commenter, Sean C. What's up, Sean? He says, who that Big Q and DC? This is a tough question. Drew Brees deserves MVP. He's been deserved it. My fear is the same people who don't give him credit or think he should be the GOAT conversation are going to be the ones vote. That may prove to be the reason he's snubbed. The pundits go out with their eyes and not with the facts. Brees is playing very efficient ball, but the biggest thing is he's always shattering records, including his own. Give the man the crown. Thank you, Sean, for that comment. Appreciate it, buddy. Lance Kelly chimes in. He said, yes, he deserves it. Although Mahomes is having an epic season, Drew is playing like a robot. Thank you, Lance. Carter Smith chimes in. He is playing like a robot. Carter Smith is chiming in. He said, who that? And then he got the arm, the Michael Thomas strength arm up there. Who that to you, Carter? William Pickney chiming in. We haven't heard from you in a while, Will. He says, long time listening on YouTube. Big Q, just wanted to let you know I'm going to do my part to keep y'all alive. Keep up the good work. Thank you, William. Appreciate it. Appreciate Will once again. As long as we can kind of get that help, we really appreciate people like William chiming in, man, and donating to the cause. You can go to patreon.com/the PRO Media Network. What that'll do is that'll put you on the Patreon, and then you can choose what you're willing to contribute. You can become a monthly or one-time contributor or a monthly contributor at different levels there, depending on how much of a fan you are. So please go there and visit that, and that's a way that people who want to help the show out, besides just sharing it in forums, you could do that as well. Share our show in forums. You can still contribute. You can go out and wherever there are other Saints people, you can share our links. You can put them on your social media pages at Reddit, Facebook, all these Saints forums where all the Saints fans gather. Shout us out in there. Throw our links in there. Tell them about the Sports Coma however you can to help us out. But Patreon is a really big deal. It'll help us get closer to that live broadcast. So thank you, Will, for your support, my friend. Soldier for God 77 says, Big Q, Drew is going to get the MVP and another Super Bowl ring. Oh, by the way, Ryan Clark trying out for a job for those Rams. Guess what, Soldier for God? He won't get it. He won't get it. I tell you what, even messed up. If he go and trial for the Eagles, he won't get it. And they need help back there. He won't get it. He damn sure won't get it. And the last comment will be DJ Austin. DJ Austin, what's up, DJ? He says, if he doesn't win this NFL lead, is trash, boo-boo garbage, or front office because he is completed 79.99% of his passes. Why not? I said, yes, he should be or be in the race. No doubt about it. He's in the race as well or not. He'll give it. And then early on, a commenter made a really great comment about a guy getting the MVP and winning the Super Bowl and get a Super Bowl MVP. That's very difficult to do. And he's right. The last guy to do it was Kurt Warner to do it. So it's not done often.
Yeah.
So
I think Bob also did it too.
Right. So if it's not done often, but then again, look at this kind of season. You don't see this kind of season that Drew Brees have often. So when you have legendary seasons like that, of course you can't deny the guy. You're going to throw Mahomes in there and all that kind of stuff. But I'd just be interested to see if Mahomes wins tonight Monday night against the Rams, and he has a crap-tastic game against the Rams when he throw 2 or 3 interceptions, how that would tilt the race in Drew Brees' favor. Because one bad head game, he'd probably hurt him.
They can't deny Drew Brees for one reason, and one reason only, man. The Saints are putting up an historic offense. If they keep going at the pace they have to give it to him, even if it's that or as many touchdowns as Mahomes, man. I mean, it's history being made. This is insane, bro.
Absolutely insane. Well, that'll do it for all the comments, and I appreciate all the great people out there for commenting and sharing your comments. Remember, the Sports Coma question of the day for today is, can the Saints offense maintain this level of play for the rest of the season, into the playoffs, into the Super Bowl? Can they keep it up? That's the question. So if you, answer the question, put your questions in the comment. Remember that all questions or replies, will be read on the next show. And that'll do it for the show. I'd like to thank all y'all guys for chiming into the Sports Coma today. As always, if you want to help us out, you can go to our Patreon page at www.patreon.com/PRO Media Network. You can become a one-time donator. You can donate on a monthly basis. There are different levels to it. Go and investigate it. Also, you can join our social media pages. Those links in the description section below. And you can also support our sponsors. Those links are in the description section below. So from me and DC and their crew here at the Sports Coma, thank y'all for listening. Peace.
Peace.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network, and support the true independent artists.
Tea is your escape.
It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below. Go to newfrog.com for all of your electronic gadget needs. Fast becoming #1 online seller of cell phone and accessories, consumer electronics, automobiles and motorcycles, home and garden items, 5D diamond painting crafts, electrical and tool supplies, computer and networking supplies, lights and lighting supplies, sports and travel items, toys and hobby supplies, apparel and accessory, mother and kid items, health and beauty items, and much, much more. Newfrog.com has up to 70% off on some products. And you can check out their weekly promotions for all the best deals. Remember, when thinking online electronics and gadgets, think New Frog. Newfrog.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Vapor DNA is the absolute premier online vape store, offering an industry-leading selection of e-cigarettes, e-liquids, and accessories. Our friendly and knowledgeable customer service team is always ready to provide the best customer service experience to ensure you find what you're looking for. We guarantee our vaping gear shop products to be 100% genuine and the lowest price. We are so confident in our selection and our customer service. We will offer our customers a 45-day refund policy. That's right, a 45-day refund policy. We are proud of this offer for 3 simple reasons: quality, selection, and price. And that is the reason you should choose Vapor DNA for all your vaping needs. That's www.vapordna.com. Again, that's www.vapordna.com.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad, G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
What's up, Sports World? The PRO Media Network is on a mission to reach 10,000 subscribers. So besides our regular programs like the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, the Pelican Post Game Report, Rapid Fire TSC, and others, we will be expanding out and offering other content like movie, anime, and gaming reviews for your entertainment. So if you enjoy our content, please donate at our Patreon page. Also subscribe, comment, and share, and help the PRO Media Network reach 10,000 subs. Peace.